Good morning, Firefighter Benefit Fund. This is Brittany. How can I help you?
The ultimate goal was to open a facility where we could provide better medical care for the employees, the retirees, and the families of the Palm Beach County Fire Rescue. So in early 2012, the board gave the go-ahead for me to purchase a building and to begin the process of building out the medical facility. It took us most of 2012 to accomplish that. We opened actually in late 2012 on trial basis, and in early 2013, in January, we began doing the medical physicals for fire rescue.
Come on in. I'm Lisette. How are you doing today? Good, thank you. So today you're here for a firefighter physical?
Right.
A new firefighter coming through the Health and Wellness Center will get all aspects of what we call the traditional or yearly firefighter physical exam. So they'll come in and get a full set of vital signs, height and weight and the usual.
Any drug allergies for you?
And then they'll follow through with the regular portions of the firefighter physical, from the spirometry, they'll get an EKG, get a urine sample, they'll get blood draw, they'll get a chest x-ray, and then all the data will be compilated, put together, and then they'll get to the provider.
Hey, Phil. You too.
Sound good? Everything going all right?
Yeah.
They'll get a head-to-toe portion of the full physical examination.
Later that year in April, we opened for all services. It's just taken off from there.
Have you ever had a stress test before? Okay, so that'll be kind of a new thing. The provider will go through all the aspects of the EKG and the urinalysis and all the elements, and we'll give them a good going over.
As far as health problems in the past.
Our intent was to provide a much better physical, a more thorough physical. While the components are fairly much the same as they were at Hope Health and Wellness, really wanted to do a better job at providing those physicals. Maybe add additional blood tests in it.
Thank you, sir. And that's that.
One of the other things that we did was the TB test. We made that it's a more expensive test, but it's a more thorough test. So the object, of course, was just to do a better job at it, to have our people see people that care about them, and certainly that was our focus.
Now with both eyes, what's the lowest line we could read?
In hiring the staff that we did.
FELOPZD.
We wanted to make sure that the people looking after our people
Okay, go ahead and read line 6, please.
really cared about what they were doing.
This year we've incorporated a stress test, as you know.
I just need the shirt off so we can get you all hooked up.
We're doing an exercise stress test on all combat participants.
Grab that in right there.
We felt that it was in their best interest to get their heart evaluated from a medical standpoint. You know, to evaluate somebody thoroughly.
Usually the first 3 minutes, very boring, walk, a little bit of an incline.
From a cardiac standpoint, it would be a good idea to do an exercise stress test. I thought that that would be a good idea to do in their long-term best interest medically. Although it takes a little bit more time, the bang we're getting for our buck, the valuable data that we're getting for it, I think is well worthwhile. And I think we've been able to pick up already a couple of cases that, I think really almost can be considered saves. I mean, things that I think had gone missing for years, and we've been able to pick up on them. So, for the individuals where it's something that's been life-saving, I think it's been well worth it. And overall, for generally speaking, I think it's been a phenomenal thing to do from a health standpoint and keeping everybody a little bit healthier standpoint.
We knew as the Board of Trustees that longer term, if you take better care of people, of course, it's going to save you money. So that was the goal, was to just do a much better job at taking care of our people. Our claims has dropped dramatically. Shockingly, when we first opened the clinic, we had our business model, and for the first 9 months of the clinic, which was the balance of our fiscal year for the fund, we expected to see 3,900 patients or patient visits, and we ended up seeing 13,000 in that same time frame.
The CAT scan has been, I think, a phenomenal purchase. I mean, I really credit the board in coming up with the idea and really, having the sight to really look into something like that. It's a big expenditure, but long term, again, I think it's going to pay huge dividends, and I think it already has on multiple levels. It is a phenomenal piece of equipment, similar to our ultrasound machine, but of course it gives us different type of data and more specific data. So it gives us that ability to acutely take care of somebody on an emergency or urgency basis, but it also gives us the aspect you're talking about with the full body CTs. Now, the full body CTs I think are a good benefit that the board wants to continue, and it has saved people's lives, period, point blank. It has saved people's lives over time. And we're now offering it with IV contrast. We were doing it initially without IV contrast. We're now offering it with IV contrast to the participant. But, it's a head, a chest, an abdomen, and a pelvis CAT scan. Thin cuts, reformatted with very low radiation. Our new CAT scan machine is a GE machine. It's brand new, and it offers the highest resolution at the lowest radiation. And it really gives us a ton of information, and already just what month are we in, July now, it's already saved people's lives just from the ones that we've done here. We send it out to the radiologist, and within a week we have all the information, let's say. I'm often a lot quicker than that, but I could comfortably say within a week, usually within 3-4 days.
I think that's a testament to the quality of care and the way the providers are treating our people, that they're coming from all over to actually get care there. And interestingly enough, our original demographic study, we were looking at a 20-mile radius for the medical facility, and that's where we thought our patient base would generally come from. And about 60% of our people live within 20 miles of the facility, but we find that they're coming every day from Broward County, Martin County, Palm City, Stewart, those areas to get medical care. And when I actually talk to some of the people in the waiting room, and I know that they live, say in Broward County or even North Dade County, and I ask them, why did you travel this far? And they say, well, realistically, with the location being right on the major, interstate, the turnpike, the time to get there is not that bad. Waiting times are generally probably a tenth of what you would wait in any other provider's office, and they're getting much better care.
We're right now in the process of getting a lab set up whereby we can get stat labs. Same type of patient we were talking about earlier, comes in with appendicitis. Well, what does your white blood cell count look like? What does your electrolytes look like? What are your CRP, sed rate, whatever types of blood tests you wanted to do, you'd have on an emergent basis now, real time, within 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We're now, right now, as we sit, we have to send them out and get stat reads back, stat blood tests back in a couple of hours, let's say. But now, a couple of hours can be a big deal. A couple of hours, maybe you have to send a patient to the emergency room. So having a lab is going to be huge. I mean, when a firefighter comes in for their firefighter physical, I foresee and I'm planning and I'm hoping that we can get to a point where, and I think we will with the lab, that a firefighter comes in for their firefighter physical, has their labs drawn. Right now we're just at the point where I'll call you in about a week with all your labs, and we'll see how you're doing, and then the labs come into my box, so I review them, I look at them, call the patient back, he's on shift, and then there's, the communication part is always sometimes difficult, but with the lab, real time, right there and then. Hey, your cholesterol is looking great. Your LDL is down from last year. You'd have it right there. You can discuss it during that same firefighter physical.
Alright. Probably needs to be cleaned out, irrigated.
Yeah, and we can do that periodically. That's not a problem.
The clinic is absolutely paying for itself, and these short-term savings, where we're trading off, instead of you going to this doctor and us paying them, you coming here, those are really the least amount of savings that you're going to see in an endeavor like this. The biggest savings comes in controlling specialists, We take care of our people in-house. If we need say a consult from a specialist, instead of the patient going straight to that specialist and that specialist performing every test in the book, they are being sent specifically to a certain specialist who are only doing what we need them to do.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
We also do school physicals, women GYN exams, and then full yearly physicals regardless of your age and regardless of your firefighter. You may be a dependent, you might be a 25-year-old son or daughter of one of our firefighters, and so we offer services to them as well. Urgent care, emergent care, and primary care. What I've always said is sort of 3 to 4 months and on, we do urgent care for pediatrics, and we do see quite a few babies, 6-month-old, 8-month-old, 9-month-old, pulling at the ear infections, that kind of stuff, quite a bit. And then after 8 years old, primary care, you know, doing HPV injections, doing school physicals, monitoring them. So really primary care, I typically say 7 or 8 and on, and urgent care after 3 months. But we do a lot of peds, especially, you know, on weekends, on Saturdays, and after hours, like after 5 p.m., between 5 and 8 p.m. We do our fair share of peds. You know, I think it's a nice service to provide, to be able to go somewhere and get that level of care. It's kind of nice.
What, you got cups? Can I see your cups?
But the biggest savings comes in the long-term cost of medical care. Diagnosing diabetics early on in their illness is a huge, huge cost savings. And that's where the real money is going to show up many years down the road, when our population is much healthier than it might have been, and we're spending a lot less dollars than we probably would have been. So we're very excited about the financial impact the clinic has had on the fund as a whole.
I think this is a very unique model that that the board and Mike Sedgwick have put together. That if you look at this whole project now, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when they were describing this, I didn't think it could work. It'd be very unique to have a smaller type clinic, to have their own CAT scan, to have their own lab, to have their own ultrasound, to have a staff that big where people aren't waiting 4 or 5 hours to be seen or can't get an appointment for 1 to 2 months. So this model of the project is something that I see a lot of in the future, a lot of other corporations and departments trying to put together. I've been working with John Villa for 11 years up at in ER medicine at Jupiter. The biggest reason I came here is because I knew John's integrity of always doing the right thing for a patient, and that's carrying on right here, just as he did with ER patients up in Jupiter. So, and he's put together a team with Dr. Pertelt and Susan Collins and Lance and Kelly, where again, we're a group that works very well together. We can turn a patient over to be seen the next day and know that that next patient that's seeing the patient is going to continue to do the right workup and the right thing for the patients.
Today we're seeing an average of 70 patients a day, in the low 70s. You know, rapidly we had to change our hours. We were originally open 8 to 5, and we went to 8 to 8, and actually have Saturday hours now. And we had to do that in order to, you know, spread the patient base out a little bit, because it was just, it was so successful so quickly.
I think that our clinic is unique and special, and the care that we give is very sophisticated and meticulous. I think it is a combined effort and a team effort of multiple providers that come from different realms, and we're able to offer the patients more than the traditional urgent care family practice setting. So this is a very unique facility, and I think that the entire medical team encompasses several subspecialties that you would not see in other facilities.
Melissa has been great. She just started a couple of weeks ago, and people are already calling and wanting to meet with her and talk to her, and she is going to, I think, be a vital role moving on. The services that she provides are multifactorial, but include, and they're not limited to, diet, nutrition, exercise, weight management, diabetes management, hypertension management. Are you eating the right foods? It's sort of a global package from those specific diagnoses. We can tease out individuals with a higher BMI, maybe, and body mass index, and have her call them, or vice versa. Have the participant, the firefighter, call her. So set up an appointment with her. She's going to be able to spend the quality time and the follow-up that is sometimes required to really drive the point home.
Please call me if you need any more help. I would love to help you.
Very informative.
Okay, great. Have a good day.
It's a lot smaller than a traditional pharmacy, considering we only have generics. We don't have any brand name medications, and we don't stock all the things that a normal pharmacy would have. However, when somebody calls, I take their request and I hand it to their provider. They will then write me a prescription, and I will fill it just like a regular pharmacy.
I think the pharmacy adds a whole different dimension to it. Crystal's been great. She's our pharmacy tech there, and really what we do is partially unique, I think. What we're doing is we have a room, it's probably half the size of this room, and it's full of medications. And what's kind of nice, from, again, two perspectives. From an acute care standpoint, you come in, I'm having whatever, a sore throat, and I need amoxicillin. Well, we can diagnose you, and okay, you wait 2 minutes in the waiting room, and then we can bring your medication out to you. It's kind of nice. So it's one-stop shop to a certain degree. It's it's very convenient. Especially we were talking earlier, moms and dads with their children, and having to come in with their children and then go and wait at a pharmacy and get their medications. Now, you can wait in the waiting room, and we'll bring them out to you. So it's very, very convenient from an urgent care standpoint to actually be able to walk out with your medications. I think it's very, very nice. We also do medications on an ongoing basis. I mean, we can mail them out to you for 90 days. And every day we're getting more medications. We mostly stock generics, but we're getting a host of different medications and more to choose from every day. And it's been very nice. And I think that has been very convenient for the firefighters, whereby not only can you come in and, let's say you're coming in every 3 months for your diabetes checks, or every 6 months for your hypertension checks, or every 6 months for your cholesterol checks. Well, how you've been doing? Everything is great. Cholesterol medicine's working great. When we get our lab up and running, here's your cholesterol today. It's great, same dose, and here it is. Here's your 90-day supply. And we can mail you the next 90-day supply when this one runs out. We'll see you in 6 months, follow up 6 months.
In the private sector, doctors just don't have the time. They can't afford the time to actually provide that level of medical care. So lots of times things are not diagnosed, tests aren't done that would catch the condition. We're excited to say that we've actually really, there's several people that are on this planet today because of that medical facility that would not be. There's been numerous cases over the last year and a half that providing better medical care, taking the time to provide that care, really looking at the results and drilling down into the results that are coming back from the various tests have definitely made an impact on the lives of our brothers and sisters and their families. Nobody wants to find out that one of their brothers or sisters has cancer, for example. To be able to catch that early on and to have a positive outcome, of course, is very exciting. I think the reason that we're successful at it is because, again, our providers are told, take the time to treat the patient. Do whatever you need to do. Don't worry about moving on to the next patient, because you've got to see so many patients in so much time in order to, put food on the table back home. And that has given our providers the time to really pay attention to the results of the exams, whether they be x-rays, nowadays CAT scans, lab work, ultrasounds, the various things that we're doing. We probably have diagnosed more very deadly illnesses over the last year and a half than fire rescue has seen diagnosed amongst its population in a long time. And, you know, it's attributed to that. The outcomes, for the most part, have been stellar. There's been a lot of cancers that were caught and were addressed, and people are now on the road to recovery.
I enjoy working here quite a bit, you know that, and I think the staff knows that. We've handpicked, I think, the best staff in the world. I'm biased, of course, but I mean, I'll be very honest with you. You know how it is working with a team of people, and firefighters get it. When you're working with a team of people, you're as good as your team, and that's it. From the top down, this is a very, very unique experience. It's a very unique scenario. It's a very unique setup. I mean, to be able to essentially handpick a team of healthcare providers and to have the support of the board members, and you know, it's a phenomenal opportunity.
I just love being here. This is it's been a refreshing change and somewhat of a challenge to get going, and very rewarding now that we're up and running and getting better every day.
Firefighters are notoriously a fairly critical group. Being a firefighter, I can say that. But in one of the questions, it was rate the entire facility, the care you got, the provider that saw you, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being, you know, the worst and 10 being the best. And 94.6% of the people consistently give us a 10.
Amazing clinic. That's the first thing they say when they come in. Wow, this is great, this is beautiful. And I love what I do, and I love working with you guys. And now that I'm starting to see all the old firefighters that came last year, till now, like everyone walks in, oh, hey, how are you? How you doing? And I love it, and I love what I do.
I enjoy working with the participants that we have now. It is definitely an honor to work with the firefighters and their families, and I feel that we've gotten to the point that we know our patients. We're on a first name basis, and it's a very comfortable setting for them. It's you know, a place that I want them to feel they're at home when they're meeting with us, so that they can really open up and tell us all of their medical needs and problems.
For firefighters to all agree that this is a phenomenal benefit that they're receiving, that it's a great facility and they want to come there, you know, that excites us too, because you know, naturally in going down this road and opening this type of facility, and you know, the money that we've put into it, you know, it's always a little scary whether it's going to succeed or not. And I think today we're a huge success, and we owe that, you know, I think mostly to the staff that works in the facility, and then for, you know, all the patients, the employees, the retirees, their families, for giving, you know, us the opportunity to provide their medical care.
We will continue to provide the best care that we can, but with providers like Brad and like Sue and Lance and Kelly and everybody, you know, it's the team that we have is phenomenal, and I think anybody that goes there will have that feeling of, hey, guess what? These guys actually care about me, and they care about my future, and they care about my health long term. They care about me spending a long time deep into my retirement and seeing my grandkids and their kids. So it's a unique medical model. It's a unique opportunity to do something that can be done the right way. Medicine and medical care can be provided the correct way, and I feel very strongly that we're doing it the right way and the best way we possibly can.